Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice. And again I say rejoice.
You make my job easy. I don't have to search for an intro when you do things like that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're back. Episode 4.
It's like we never left.
I feel like I left. I feel like I've been gone a little bit.
You physically left 2 times.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, I know. You went on vacation and then you went back.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough.
Actually, we got in a fight.
Yeah. It was going up the stairs also. It was probably the worst location you could have gotten a fight at.
Yeah. We were just debating on which prequel series of Star Wars was the worst.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the prequel or the sequels trilogies.
Yeah, I said it was the last 3, and you said it was the prequel, so...
I said it was the main 3.
Yeah. For that, honestly, you should get thrown down the stairs.
You were the chosen one, Griffin.
You should.
It said you would bring balance to the podcast, not destroy it.
Hey, it's been a few weeks. What are we doing? Let's remind the people.
It's been 3 weeks, man. It's been a long 3 weeks, but we're back. We're still in the book of Philippians. We're going to be finishing that up today. It's going to be chapter 4. So we covered the first 3 chapters. We did envy, strife, complaining. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. We probably should have did like a little recap, but I mean, we're pretty much ready for chapter 4. So
yeah, and then we're moving on. Another 3-week break.
It's gonna be 3 months this time. we got to write the script for this.
Let's just multiply it by 7.
No,
21 months.
Like we said, guys. I mean, we do take this seriously, and it's something that we want to make important in our lives. But things come up and happen, and we're not able to commit as much as we'd like. But the purpose is solely just to spread the gospel, and we're going to do that as much as we can. We want to be more consistent. That's a goal of ours. Just life sometimes throws wrenches and things,
or vehicles.
Well, yeah.
They throw vehicles at you too.
Bet you didn't see this coming.
Launched it at me like Magneto.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been through the ringer, man.
Yeah, it's a good start to the year, but hey, we're still pushing through, baby.
So welcome to the Kingdom Playbook Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4, Philippians 4. Let's get to it. You can start. You can read.
I read mine in the Message version. Do you want to stick with New King James?
Yeah, actually, you read the Message version.
All right.
So we're going to jump to a different version. We usually use the New King James, but since you brought that up,
I like the Message because it kind of brings it to like modern day English, My dear friends, I love you so, so much.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, you weren't talking to me.
It was plural, so. Is Chewy outside? I'm talking to him too.
He's probably laying right there. But
my dear friends, I love you so much. I do want the very best for you. You make me feel such joy. Fill me with such pride. Don't waver. Stay on track. Steady in God. Pray about everything. Did you want to stop there?
Yeah, we can stop there.
Oh, you look
Dude, Paul sounds like the biggest hype man ever.
My dear friends, dude.
He's like, yo, just keep going, dude.
Pray about everything. I urge Euodia and Syntyche to iron out the differences and make up. God doesn't want his children holding grudges. And oh yes, Syzygus, since you're right there to help them work things out, do your best with them. These women worked for the Message hand in hand with Clement and me, and with the other veterans, worked as hard as any of us. Remember their names and also in the book of life. Celebrate God all day, every day. I mean revel in him. Make it as clear as you can to all you meet that you are on the side working with them and not against them. Help them see the master is about to arrive. He could show up any minute.
That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first 9 verses in the Message?
The first 5.
First 5?
4 to 5, yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so we meet two characters, I guess you could say, 2 people. Euodia and Syntyche.
Syntyche. Yeah. We didn't have to look up how to pronounce that.
So I guess in a sense, yeah, we didn't have to look at that. We knew it. like, first try. I was like, oh, dude, that's Syntyche. How do you not know that?
What an idiot.
Yodia? Like, what?
Exodia.
I knew you were going to say that. But this message was directed towards them specifically, but also to the people of Philippi. And I also want to do like a little recap of the fact that Paul was writing this from prison in Rome. He wrote this letter to them, and it was probably around 60 to 62 AD. The church of Philippi had like a really special place in Paul's heart, as it was the first church he founded in Europe.
Wow.
So he later expresses his gratitude within this chapter, love and encouragement to them. I mean, this chapter is solely based on, for the most part, anxiety and worries that can be brought up in someone's life, which kind of goes with things that you're going through personally,
Yeah. Why is it every time I'm on here, it's like an example for me? This isn't meant for just me, like it needs to be for other people, but every time we record, it's like direct.
It's literally like word for word what your life is.
What the heck,
I was like, hey man, you want to record? And you're like, yeah, I'm just really worried about what's going on. I'm like, oh hey, Philippians 4 says worry not, dude. No, but I'll read from verse 5 to 9 so that we can just talk about that grouping. So in the New King James Version, it starts with, let your gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. So let's do a breakdown.
I just want to read
the Message version of that.
Well, the last part.
Okay.
It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces worry at the center of your life.
Displaces?
Yes.
That's good.
But, yeah, let's talk about that.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you wanted to stop?
Okay. So let's stop me if you want to like interrupt or whatever. So 1 through 9 I have, Paul is encouraging the believers to stand firm in their faith and to resolve any conflicts amongst themselves. So we've established that Paul, this was the first church that he sort of like built in Europe. So it holds like a heavy weight in his heart. It's his little baby, and he's probably gotten wind that there's some, conflicts amongst the people within the church. So he wants to address that, and he is urging them to always rejoice in the Lord, to be gentle with everyone, to not be anxious. Instead, they should present their requests to God through prayer and thanksgiving. A lot of the time, we get so focused on the inner struggles of what we're going through, the anxiousness, the worries of our lives, that we can become complacent and also really just vent outwardly. Like, even just with your situation, you could look at it as like, man, this happened to me. I'm so sick and tired of dealing with this. I have no control over these situations. You become anxious because you're not able to do anything yourself. You become worried because it's like, how am I going to be able to afford something, or how am I going to be able to survive? Like, what do I need to do to take care of this? Am I going to need to work another job? Am I going to need to do something else?
Yeah, just speaking on that a little bit, I haven't been able to sleep much regarding what's going on. I'm definitely anxious. I stay up at night just thinking about things, and it is tough, like, having faith. Mm-hmm. Like, it's definitely, I'm in like a spot where I'm tested every day, like hardcore. Like, it's not great.
You're probably in a place of refining, but this is a good example for not being anxious, because it's not like something that you brought on yourself.
See, I tell myself, and for those who don't know what happened, I got in a pretty bad car accident. I'm without a vehicle, and let's just say things aren't going in my favor financially. Okay, so I'm one who stresses about money all the time. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how much I have, I'm always going to be that way, I guess. But not having control of the situation and not knowing when the resolution is coming and not knowing what next week is going to look like is a very humbling experience for me. And there's times where I'm like, oh, it's all going to work out. I don't need to worry about it. And then there's times where all I do is worry about it. So
yeah, because it's out of your hands. You don't have any control. There's no solid communication back and forth. You're relying and hoping on the other people to do their portion of what they're supposed to do to be able to get back to you in a timely manner. It's really all out of your hands. And Paul's kind of letting the people in Philippi know, like, you're having all these problems, you're worried about all these situations that you're going through, and you need to just fully surrender it, that baggage that you're trying to carry, and give it to the Lord, because even when we don't see it, he's working. He's doing what he's supposed to do for us. No, I shouldn't say supposed to do, but he's going to take care of us because we're his children.
Let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns.
Yeah.
Before you know it, a sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good, will come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces worry at the center of your life.
And that's peace. That's his peace.
Yeah. It's definitely, and the people are going through a lot worse things than I am.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
It doesn't mean.
So let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
So people going through those things, and maybe someone listening to this is like having the worst month of their life. What do you say to those people to do what Paul is saying here and, letting all the worries go to God? How do you go about doing that? How do you remain, strong in situations like that?
I look to see what I have, what he's given me, and where I came from. And to be honest, for me personally, I might go through a struggle, but I always look at it like you just said, like there could be someone else going through something worse than me.
Yeah.
How am I going to adapt this circumstance, push through and persevere, even though it's hurting me in some format? And I just look, this is a perfect chapter for that, because Paul is promising, it's a promise that God's peace, which transcends all understanding, in the midst of your worry and your anxiousness, you will never understand why something happened to you or why something is happening to you, because it's a problem that's out of our control. So say, for instance, you're about to get evicted from your home.
Yeah.
And there was no sort of warning or anything like that. In your anxiousness and your worriness, you're trying to comprehend why something is happening. And instead of focusing on the why, you should be focusing on, Lord, how are you going to bring me through this? And I try to train myself and remind myself that I'm going to go through obstacles. Life is going to throw things my way. It's not why am I going through this, but how are you going to lead me through, and why are you taking me this way? What are you trying to teach me?
Yeah.
And in that, I find that it's because I was lacking relying on him. And he's not going, oh, I'm taking you through this trial and tribulation or this obstacle because you're ignoring me and stuff. No, he's refining your character. He's turning you into who he's made you to be. And he's no respecter of persons. The obstacles and stuff like that are not consequences and discipline and trying to look down on you with a magnifying glass and highlight all of your shortcomings. He's trying to mold us into what he has destined us to be. And through just looking at him like, okay, Lord, how are you getting me through this? What is it that I need to do? And Paul is just saying that his peace is going to transcend all of our understanding, and it will guard our hearts and minds in him. So in your release and letting God have full control, that peace will come upon you, and our hearts will actually be guarded from that worriness, and our minds should be also void of those problems. So that's what I would, advise,
That's good.
And I've been telling you, hey man, just don't worry, it's going to work itself out. It's easy on this side because I'm not the one in the circumstance.
Yeah.
Well,
I know as a man, I'm not going to allow this to capsize me. I'll figure it out. You know?
And even in that, Paul then advises, those people, the people of Philippi, to focus on things that are true. So if we want to look at what truth is, it's through the Word of God. As a Christian, truth is from His Word, because His Word is living. So we're going to be focusing on the things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy. So if none of that is in us that we're not focusing on, then it ends up being a core reason or a core section or part of worriness or anxiousness.
Let's go ahead and continue here. I'll continue after what you read. Summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do your best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, and gracious. The best, not the worst. The beautiful, not the ugly. Things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you learned from me, what you heard and saw and realized. Do that, and God, who makes everything work together, will work you into His most excellent harmonies.
Yeah, I kind of went ahead a little bit there, but
that's fine. Content whatever the circumstances. I'm glad in God, far happier than you would ever guess. Happy that you're again showing such strong concern for me. Not that you ever quit praying and thinking about me. You just had no chance to show it. Actually, I don't have a sense of needing anything personally. I've learned by now to be quite content with whatever my circumstances. I'm just as happy with little as with much as with little. I found the recipe for being happy, whether full or hungry, hands full or hands empty. Whatever I have, wherever I am, I can make it through anything in the one who makes me who I am. I don't mean that your help didn't mean a lot to me. It did. It was a beautiful thing that you came alongside me in my troubles. You Philippians well know, and you can be sure I'll never forget, that when I first left Macedonia province, venturing out with the message, not one church helped out in the give and take of this work except you. You were the only one. Even while I was in Thessalonica, you helped out. And not only once, but twice. Not that I'm looking for handouts, but I do want you to experience the blessing that issues from generosity. And now I have it all, and keep getting more. The gifts you sent with Epaphroditus were more than enough, like a sweet-smelling sacrifice roasting on the altar, filling the air with fragrance, pleasing God to no end. You can be sure God will take care of everything you need, His generosity exceeding even yours in the glory that pours from Jesus. Our God and Father abounds in glory that just pours out into eternity. Yes.
The yes there is like an amen.
Yeah.
Man, was there anything in that section that kind of like caught your eye?
Focusing on pretty much what you said prior to me reading that, is just focusing on all the positives and the things you do have, as opposed to the trials you're going to face and the negatives you can find in anything. You can find the negative in any situation, in any circumstance you're in any person, but choosing to only look at the good things. It's really a retraining of your mind.
Yeah, renewing of the mind daily, right?
Yeah. So that stuck out to me for sure.
Okay, yeah. So that was like verses 10 through 20, I think. I have here in my notes, like, Paul's thanking the Philippians for their concern and support. He's acknowledging that they have revived their concern for him. He's sharing that he has learned to be content in any situation, whether in need or in plenty. And the one important verse was, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. That's not in the Message version, but that would be verse 13. That's a very popular verse. A lot of people use that for tattoos. It's like one of the main verses that athletes will throw out there, like,
right.
Because when adversity hits, it's like, if I rely upon the Lord, He's going to take care of me. In the sense of like the world and culture, this might be a cliche chapter, but this is a chapter that holds significant weight, especially in your walk as a Christian, because even though it sounds cliche, all of this is important, and it's the simple things that tend to be what we either lack in or don't pay attention to that can cause us to stumble or backslide. So Paul's sharing that, like you had said, he has learned to be content in any situation, and he's expressing his gratitude for the financial gifts they sent to him. So how awesome is it that in situations where you might be struggling financially, you can be blessed? I've had situations where I didn't think I was going to be able to make rent. Didn't know if I was going to be able to make a car payment. Needed a new battery in my car, and then all of a sudden people just bless you, you know? They're just giving you money, or they're buying you a battery or something. So I'm a firm believer that this happens to not just Christians. If you're going to be the church and you're going to be a Christian, then in this case, in situations like that where you are able to, or if the Lord tells you to, gift and help and help sustain somebody and lift them up out of their burden is really beneficial to both parties. He also states he's saying that he's gracious for the financial gifts, which were not just a help to him, but also a pleasing sacrifice to God. And he's assuring them that God will meet all their needs according to his glorious riches in Christ Jesus.
I'll just go ahead and wrap up the end of this. So I only got 3 more verses. So after he says, our God and Father abounds in glory that just pours out in eternity. Yes. Give our regards to every follower of Jesus you meet. Our friends here say hello. All the Christians here, especially the believers who work in the palace of Caesar, want to be remembered to you. Receive and experience the amazing grace of the Master Jesus Christ deep within yourselves.
So the end there is just a final greeting, just kind of blessing them as he's closing the letter. I guess that's not really important in the message, but it's also nice to give a blessing to those that you're trying to pour into and mentor and disciple, and also the thankfulness for them blessing you with a gift. So some key themes that I had written down on here for this chapter is that we should always rejoice in the Lord. Rejoice in the Lord always. Find contentment in all circumstances through Christ, and the importance of unity in resolving conflicts within the community is essential for growth, and that we should always trust in God's provision, and you'll then experience his peace. So that's pretty much a whole summary of Philippians chapter 4.
Yeah.
That sums up the whole book of Philippians. And like we said in the beginning, I know we were goofing off, kind of going on a little tangent there, but we just try to...
That's who we are, though.
We just try to keep conversation not so serious all the time. You know?
If we just got on here and read all the verses, and I feel like, I don't know, that's not who we are.
Yeah. So as our followers, I want to just throw this out there. We might have an idea of what book we want to dive into next, or maybe a topic or something, but if you guys want to comment, subscribe, or whatever, please, I want you guys to comment a book or a topic or something. It doesn't matter what it is. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you don't feel comfortable commenting on our main page, the Facebook page, or the channels itself on Apple or whatever, you can direct message us through the Facebook. That way, if you don't really want your name out there and you don't want the situation, if there is one, to be public, everything is confidential with us, and we'll just tackle the topics as we would tackle it if we were enduring it.
Yeah, one other way you can reach us as well is you can email us at thekingdomplaybook@gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you want to send us something there, we're always open to hearing whatever it is you guys want to talk about. So,
So guys, stay plugged in, stay grinding, rejoice in the Lord always, be content with what you have, don't worry, be anxious for nothing, and continue pressing forward. Love you guys.